We're back, dear friends. We're back after a broadcasting interruption. It happens. It's okay. Let us wait for everybody to join us again as we are here. Right? Welcome, dear souls. Now you're here. Let us grow. Let us love. Let us serve. Let us help everyone. Yes, come on in. Let us join again. He's saying that Spiritism is a blessed school of preparation before the future. And he says we understand that phenomena have its outstanding place, but we do not ignore the philosophical lessons that are an inalienable complement to the teachings that integrate the sublime heritage of the new revelation. So he's saying to us that in this Christ-conscious preparation for the future, in this school of preparation that Spiritism as a school of preparation for the future. We have phenomena, mediumship, but we also have philosophy, the thinking of it all. However, we point out the urgent and unavoidable service of education of the inner self, shaping us to the revived gospel in the standards of Christ, generating energies of character and sentiments, unique modes of moral elevation, capable of guaranteeing the renewal of the world. So, urgent and unavoidable service of education of the inner self. So, why are we studying this? Mediumship for mediumship? No. It's for the inner refinement. Inner refinement. He says, if the master returns to the planet through innumerable voices, because Spiritism brings the Christ consciousness in its depth, purity, and clarity. If Christ comes back to the earth through innumerable voices who are emissaries of his verb of light, we cannot without any doubt forget the construction of the spiritual paths destined to transmit to him the divine influence. So, construction of spiritual paths. You and I are here on earth to refine our inner self, to better ourselves, and to use the material resources for that purpose. All of us. All of us. And he says to build spiritual paths. Remember, you're making history. I'm making history. Sometimes we look at people and we look at things around us and we take it as is, as if we have to accommodate ourselves to the status quo. No, Jesus is the model that taught us to make history, not in a prideful way. No. Not in egotism, but in reality. We are born co-creators. We are created to co-create with God. And Jesus says, you're co-creators. You need to roll your sleeves and work, operate. So you and I cannot sit back and relax and say, oh, well, the world is not what I expected. What can I do? Well, we do our share. Wherever we are, especially within. By being that smiling face when you walk in the streets, when you stop by at work, when you are at a meeting, when you are at the supermarket, when you're driving, when you're flying, of course, through an airplane, right? Wherever you are, and we can be that smiley face. And that's already building a spiritual path. But not that smiling face that is just smiling out of nothing. It's a smiley face with a purpose. The purpose of sharing the good, of molding the good with all the resources we have at hand. So let us stop for a moment and accept the invitation, shall we? And practice this. I am. Put your hand in your heart. Feel the beating of the heart. Dum dum, dum dum, dum dum, dum dum. Feel it. The invitation of life saying, I am a child of God. I am a joyful co-creator. Even if you don't feel joyful, repeat to yourself, I am a joyful co-creator. And again, I am a joyful co-creator. I am serene in joy. I am serene in joy. I am serene in joy. And people talk so many things nowadays. Don't be contaminated. Be the one that is going to bring serenity by boosting the joy. People are worried, concerned. What's going to happen? Should I stock my house? The coronavirus coming as a monster. No. We will talk about spiritual immunization in the near future, this month of March. But for now, we need to understand we're not going to catch what we don't need. We're not going to catch what we don't attract. We're not going to catch what we're not supposed to experience. If you go to the book, You Can Heal Your Life, the cold and the flu is all about believing in statistics. Believing in statistics. Do you believe in that? I don't. You know why? I used to teach statistics in psychology and in pedagogy as well. And when you study statistics, you learn that in spite of its beauty, it's very arbitrary. Because, if you read the first paper that established the confidence interval that is standard for us, you're going to see that it was an arbitrary choice. It's a scientific paper that talks about it. Meaning, I believe in God. Statistics is just a guessing game. When you go to the doctor and the doctor says, you are 3 months away from dying, you can believe in that or in God. Yes, we understand doctors need to say what they know, and we forgive them for knowing with limitations, because we ourselves don't know everything either. But we're being invited to the firmness of our faith. It's up to us to believe in God. When Jesus came to the earth in the flesh, majority of people didn't believe in him. Like Camilo Castelo Branco, we've read the book Memoirs of a Suicide. People didn't believe in him. Today, the world is progressing and daily encounters more and more people gravitating to the Christ. That's why in this chapter, Emmanuel titles, in reality, Christ advances. So true. more and more, what people used to believe in was debunked. More and more, the power of God is being manifested. So, he says here to us, Emmanuel says, it is for this reason that we make efforts to raise the popular soul to the highest levels, so that the scientific fortune of some is decentralized for the benefit of all, and so that the blessings of love tends to the deep valley, where the mad forces of discord and ignorance are struggling, disintegrating the clouds of misery and pain that hinder the planning of the better earth under the inspiration of our Divine Master. The blessings of love go to the deep valley, meaning of sufferings. So that's why Emmanuel is saying we make efforts. He's saying that the high spirits are making efforts to bring, to decentralize this knowledge. We can't keep this in our little communities any longer, in our retreat places. No, we need to open wide and free to the public. That's why Kardec Radio is here for us, to make it free for people, to raise the popular soul to the highest levels. We can no longer afford studying Spiritism in the Spiritist centers. It is important, but it's not enough. Do you use social media? You do, because you're here on Facebook. Today I've got to know that my grandmother, who is 91, 92, she started using Twitter. And it's interesting because she has a Facebook account, an Instagram account, and I'm surprised. And she's so sweet and kind that I'm so surprised she's using it. But when you see the way she uses it, it's so inspirational. She is a spiritist. She uses it to check on people, to support them with loving comments, with her likes, her love, her support. Almost like invisibly, she's there and supporting people, being very charitable, so inspirational. But she's not afraid of seeing what the world is showing. So many people are running away from social media. Why? Because inside they have not built a fortress of the Christ consciousness. Because when you do, you can look at the troubles and be present and share the good. We can't run away. We need to stay there to counterbalance the craziness. Not because we're better, but because that's our redemption. We're going to be stronger if we give a hand. Emmanuel says it in the book Daily Meditations. It's not in English yet. Meditações Diárias. He says, we will conquer immunization from evil when we start reaching out to people instead of expecting people to reach out to us. So when you go to social media, you don't go there passively, awaiting to see a beautiful world. Oh, it's so beautiful. No, I go there to build a beautiful world. I enter it to share the good because I have received the good. I don't run away from social media. We can't. It's expanding as we speak. We can't escape it. So he's saying to us, in this sense, we urgently need to invite not only the attentive listeners to the word and heralds of the brilliant phraseology, but also invite active and sincere workers, able to withstand the heavy plow of the sacrificial tasks of the new sowing, collaborating in the building of the renovated humanity, effectively worthy of the title of humanity that we proudly flaunt. To be human is to put reasoning above matter, above instinct. At animal level, instinct is primary. At human level, reasoning comes first. So, we need to invite and bring active workers that are able to face the problems. Many people run away. Oh, it's so hard, so much sacrifice. But you know what's in? People think that being belonging to a very disciplined spiritist group is a sacrifice. But you know, if you invite them to watch a show in another state, paying hundreds of dollars, they easily fly there. I know people who fly from other countries just to watch a particular concert of a particular musician, paying thousands of dollars for it. But if you ask them to spend 5 minutes talking to a homeless, they have no patience whatsoever. They think it's a waste of time. If you ask them to give $5 to a person who is in need, they will hold on greedily to those $5, but they can easily spend 500 in a concert. And we're talking about concerts because pretty soon, spring and summer, we will open the season and people are buying the tickets as we speak. And they can go crazy spending their whole night in a concert, but they wouldn't spend the whole night helping other people. There's no problem going to a concert as long as we don't forget of those who are in need. Thank you, Sunshine, for your loving kindness. Yeah, she is adorable. I have to say, I owe everything to my grandma. She's simply adorable and so humble. People don't know, but it's an invitation for us. We are in social media to boost the good. And here it says, the sphere of service looms large in all respects, and Jesus, at the vanguard, asks for hands and hearts devoted to the infinite good that wipes out the worms that destroy selfishness and pride, evil and hatred, without eliminating the promising life that will enrich the planetary land in the grand future. But it claims arms that do not withdraw, discouraged and indolent in the face of disturbance and suffering, difficulty and shadow, placing above all the work that is up to us to develop and encouraging the miracle of incessant goodwill, the creation of the Christ-conscious mind. I will read some more because this paragraph is very long. Let's break it down. He says here, Jesus again is at the vanguard. He repeats that in almost every paragraph, saying that we're learning for the future, but being the present. And we need to work with our hands and our hearts. Hands and hearts. And he says, devoted to infinite good, to destroy selfishness and pride, evil and hatred. And he says here, we need hands and hearts that do not withdraw, when they face problems. That's why he says of the miracle of goodwill, incessant goodwill. Our heads to Chico Xavier, our heads to Divaldo Franco and many others, who year after year don't stop the good works. Thich Nhat Hanh, in spite of his issues, he was persecuted. The Dalai Lama as well. Nobody's perfect. None of us are. But it's so inspiring when you see them marching constantly forward in spite of the odds. You and I, tonight, are being re-energized, revitalized, saying, press on, move forward, do not ever give up, no matter the problems and the issues. We begin anew, go on and on and on and on. Why? Because we're children of God. Because we're created for the good. Paul of Tarsus, he experienced 30 years of constant struggles. Read the book Paul and Stephen. It wasn't easy. It wasn't like, oh, I love Jesus. Let me tell you about Jesus. And people would say, please come and do it. No, many people would throw stones, beat him up, curse him, slander him. He would begin anew, wounded, getting older, but never stopping until the last minute. We renew ourselves daily. When I see people saying, oh, but Vanessa, I'm so tired. I see the incomprehensions, the misunderstandings. Friends, let us learn to renew ourselves daily in serenity. That's why we need meditation. To regain that inner connection and move on. Whatever people say, we move on. In love, in serenity. Yes, there are days we go crazy. But then we pray. The good spirits come and say, take it easy. They say, tone it down. And then we begin anew. The next day, we take a shower, a cold shower, or a hot shower if we need to be more relaxed. It depends. And then we begin anew, never stopping, right? And he says to us, able to joyfully apply the sacred principles that the good news invites us to materialize, to create the kingdom of God amongst the people on earth. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Na 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 na. Joy, we can't escape the joy of living. And being serious and committed does not rule out joy. Joy is not a human invention. It's God's creation. Repeating. Joy is not human's invention, but God's creation. We were created to be joyful. Look at the birds. Look at the squirrels. Look at the dogs, the cats, the flowers, the trees. Everything emanating joy. Even the snow, it's cold, but so joyful, so serenely joyful, bringing us smiles that we can barely understand. Look at babies. They are so cutely joyful. In every aspect of nature, we'll find the expression of the divine joy. Yes. Soul Souls is saying, don't stop, believe. Yes. Yes. The modern hour, saturated with verbalistic indoctrination through the hypertrophy of intelligence, requires understanding and action, teaching and practice, theory and example, words and works, conclusions and facts, ideal and realization. You know, we have friends that are always finding an opportunity to relay this good news. John the Rose is one of them, right, John? Walking the dog and an opportunity to share the good news with friends. Wherever he goes, he's always sharing the good. Sorry, John, to put you on the spotlight, but it's not trivial because we wish we all were like this and had this feeling for humanity, like finding always someone to bridge up these good and beautiful teachings, right? The crisis of instructors generates crisis of ignorance, as much as laziness of the sower makes the destitution of the granary. Yes, there is a crisis of instructors because people don't want to sacrifice themselves. And that's the ignorance eating up humanity. So we need to use social media to counterbalance it all. If all of us who are here at Cardiac Radio use social media daily to share one, you don't need to claim it's your wisdom because it's God's wisdom, but sharing one good thing, we're going to reverse it all little by little. And so that we do not collapse on the precipices of death and darkness, molding with our own cerebral wealth the scaffold of our greatness, it is essential to consecrate great phalanxes of servants of the light in perfecting the heart, so that the Lord finds free pathways in the fields of the Spirit in which we agitate, safely promoting our redemption. What is he saying? Big words, Emmanuel. Thank you for boosting our capacity, new vocabulary. But he's saying, perfecting the heart. We need to support each other in virtues. Virtues, friends. We need to focus in virtues. Serenity is a virtue that is so forgotten. Nowadays, people are so scared of so many things. Let us be the one who will trust in God and stay serene, trusting the designs of on high. God knows what's happening and counts on us to keep ourselves cool, right? Thank you, Adilson, for your loving kindness. And he says here, everywhere education and assistance awaits us, asking us not only for salvationist projects, but also for regenerating activity and fruitful work, so that all our companions on earth, okay, find the performance of our faith to guarantee in the present also the future. I'm summarizing because he has big words here. We're 2 paragraphs away from wrapping up his message. And he's just emphasizing to us, and I don't want to be simplistic because Emmanuel is a wise mind that has so much to teach us, but just to extract the lessons of serenity, he's saying we are being invited to assist people and share education for the soul. That is why Spiritism for us means access to the good news, compelling us to improve the community through improving ourselves. It's not hard. It's free. We don't need to go anywhere but to become serene. We'll talk about exercises on serene in a minute. In it, we find the doctrine of light, opening temples of charity and understanding in the human spirit, snatching our souls from the prison of darkness and leading us to the wholesome and sanctifying work through which we will trace the enlightened script in which the Master will return to our hearts, regaining the greatness of his kingdom of love today and always. So, what is the serene message for us? The heart. Sometimes we wake up or go to sleep with to-do lists, and we only feel accomplished if at the end of the day we have checked all of it. That's so dangerous, because the external doing does not mean that we're working within. But working within, we will fulfill everything else. So what would be great exercises for us to do in the next 24 hours to gain higher levels of serenity? Pause at least 3 times during the next 24 hours and be content and joyful in just existing. What do you mean, Vanessa? Like this. I pause here and now. Let's pause for this moment, breathing deeply. And feel the greatness of existing. It doesn't matter our names, where we are, the condition of the physical body. It matters that God created us and we exist. There are no conditions to feeling the greatness of a moment like this. Jesus is a serene master. He is not guiding and modeling to-do lists anywhere, neither in your homes nor at work, either in our spiritual centers. It doesn't matter if we have 1 meeting, 2 meetings, 10 meetings. What matters is how we are. We exist, and that's wonderful. But Vanessa, I feel so guilty, so many problems. Serenity. I am serene in God, because God is helping us take care of our redemption. We don't need to be anxious. Oh my gosh, I have to pay all my debts. I'm feeling so guilty. I have so many problems. People are coming after me. Hey, they are children of God, and God is taking care of them. Let us practice this moment in the next 24 hours. Breathing in and out at least 3 times and saying to ourselves, how wonderful it is to exist. I am serene in God. How grateful it is to exist. I am serene in God. How wonderful I am to exist. I am serene in God. It feels good. And that's how we're going to improve the community, right, Adilson? Thank you for typing it in. By conquering that inner serenity. Right, Sunshine? We can only be peacemakers when we practice serenity. So that serenity is the certainty that everything is all right. Right? That everything is all right. And it is, because God is in charge of it all. We're not. But I don't need to go crazy about it. I'm not supposed to be in charge of it all. God is. And what do I do? Enjoy. Enjoy the ride. Yes, working on what I need to do, but knowing I am serene in God. This is it for today, dear friends. This is living in serenity, of course, with God, here at Kardec Radio, always nourishing our souls. May we feel it, practice it, and share in our inner lives with everyone we encounter. Thank you, friends. May God be felt in our hearts today and always. We'll be back tomorrow, God willing, with another episode of Living in Serenity here at Kardec Radio. Thank you so much.